After death, I realized I was the overbearing CEO in a wife-chasing crematorium novel. In my past life, my first love, my white moonlight, broke up with me and went abroad. Out of spite, I agreed to a business marriage and married a woman I didn't love. During the process, we went through the cliché. She loved me, I didn't love her. When she stopped loving me, I regretted it. To save her, I bankrupted the Goo Corporation, abandoned my dignity to beg her, and even broke a leg for her. Finally, we had a happy ending. After death, my soul left my body, and I saw the book, The Overbearing, Wife-Chasing Crematorium, and I had an epiphany. One, let's get a divorce. I actually was reborn. Reborn to the moment when Amanda asked me for a divorce. Okay. Seeing me nod in agreement, Amandat's eyes instantly filled with sadness, a hint of disbelief in her expression. In my past life, I hadn't agreed to a divorce, thinking she was just playing some trick again, because after our marriage, she had proposed divorce more than once, only to quickly regret it. When she regretted it, she always cried and told me it was because she loved me too much, loved me so much that she was insecure, and spoke without thinking. She begged me no matter what, to never easily agree to a divorce in the future. Looking at her pitiful appearance, my heart softened after all, and I solemnly agreed to her. This time, she was crying and begging me to let her go, saying she didn't love me anymore. I felt extremely uncomfortable at the time, mixed with a bit of displeasure, and looked at her coldly, saying it was impossible. I didn't really know what I had done wrong. Our marriage was originally a business marriage, with no emotional foundation. Yet, right after we got married, she acted like she loved me to death, and I was a slow burner since I was a child. And when I let go of my first love and started slowly accepting her, she suddenly said she didn't love me anymore, was determined to divorce, and even had her father and childhood friends suppress my company. I had no choice but to agree, for the sake of the hard work of 3 generations of my family. But at that time, her figure had already been deeply imprinted in my heart, and it was impossible to erase. I always thought it was a misunderstanding, and it would be fine if we explained it clearly. But she avoided me, and in order to see her, I used the company's interest to trade with her father. Only then did her father arrange an opportunity for me to see her. I thought it would be fine if we explained the misunderstanding. However, she stubbornly believed that all the explanations I said were lies to deceive her, and resolutely stated that she would never be fooled by me again. She wouldn't fall for my tricks again, as if I had become a complete liar in her heart, with no credibility whatsoever. I felt despair about this. The more I explained, the more she resisted. Every time I wanted to see her, I paid a great price. Gradually, my company went downhill, while her father's company was booming. I decided to save my company first. While I was working hard at the company, working overtime, she was traveling everywhere with her childhood friend to relax. During that time, my first love returned to the country and brought the academic research results needed by our company, saying she owed me an apology. To thank her, I treated her to dinner, and she asked to get back together. I smiled and was about to refuse. Amanda appeared. She cried hysterically, thinking that I must have been having an ambiguous relationship with my first love before marriage. Her childhood friend rushed up angrily and punched me hard. Of course, when he was taken away by the police, I refused to mediate. I didn't really understand why. After marrying me, she said she loved me on the one hand, and on the other hand, she drank and talked about her feelings with her childhood friend all night long. In me, I was just a workaholic who was stuck in a company every day, working hard, but I was accused of cheating during the marriage. Because of this, I felt very wronged. I remember before, when the company suddenly had an emergency, the situation was very critical. My secretary and I had to stay at the company and work overtime to formulate remedial measures, trying to salvage the situation as soon as possible. At that time, she happened to come to the company and saw the secretary and me standing very close. She instantly exploded like a lit firecracker. Regardless of everything, she rushed over and insisted that the secretary had bad intentions towards me, refusing to listen to any of my explanations. It was as if she was already convinced that there was some secret between us. In reality, the secretary had just thought of an idea and came over to explain it to me in detail. Because of this, she demanded that I fire the secretary. When I refused, her face turned pale. And before she left crying, she swept all the documents I had organized onto the floor. Great, now I have to work overtime again. There was also the time I bid on an expensive necklace and gave it to the mother of the CEO of a partner company, which landed us a big deal. I made money and bought her 10 necklaces, but she cried tears of grievance. Once I didn't make it back for her birthday because I had a minor car accident. After dealing with it, I rushed home, only to find the leftover food in the trash can. She never asked me, and I couldn't be bothered to explain. Incidents like this were countless. 2. Did you want a divorce a long time ago? Snapping back to reality. I felt helpless hearing those words. No. I just saw that you weren't happy, so I'm setting you free. I decided that I didn't want to be entangled with her in this life, and just wanted to focus on developing my family's company. Then don't regret it. After saying that, she ran out crying. I called the secretary and asked her to draft a divorce agreement. I give her what she deserved, making a clean break. I sighed inwardly, thankful that we didn't have children. Yes, whether in this life or the last, we had no children. Maybe this is just a straightforward chase. Wife after regret novel, without the runaway with the baby trope. I continued to diligently be my overbearing CEO. The next day, we signed a divorce agreement. Apart from the company's shares, I generously gave her everything else. Actually, we had a prenuptial agreement, but I still gave her half of my personal assets. She didn't seem happy. She was the one who insisted on the divorce, but she was also the one who was unhappy. After the divorce, I was helpless, although I still had feelings for her. I didn't want to continue this ill-fated relationship. Yeah, the ill-fated relationship that cost me my company and my legs. After the divorce, I could finally focus on being my workaholic self. Ever since I got married, my parents and grandparents went abroad. It's a bit ridiculous. It's all just for the sake of chasing the wife, driving away all my relatives. I worked and complained, leaving only me as a hard-working beast of burden. 3. After this period of hard work, I signed several more major contracts. This day, I was happily drinking red wine in my office, celebrating quietly by myself. Suddenly, the phone rang. Goosey, I'm back. Oh, it's my first love, my white moonlight, who's back. Is the plot about to start again? I sighed. Just like in the previous life, she brought back a research result that I desperately needed, and I couldn't refuse it. This time, I didn't proactively offer to take her to dinner, but she suggested it. So I resolutely refused the restaurant she recommended and changed it to one that was 108,000 miles away. During dinner, she brought up getting back together. I was so scared that I looked left and right. Fortunately, the female lead didn't appear. It seems that some plot points can be changed. I still refused her. There are plenty of fish in the sea. I explained that I was that flower, but she chuckled. We went back to how we used to be when we were dating. It was both of our first times. I remember she was the one who pursued me, but she later denied it. She said that during a debate competition, I was her opponent and I debated her into silence. It was the first time she had been defeated. Then she swore to win against me and joined the same debate club as me. Over time, we fell in love and got together. During that time, we were always peaceful and warm, dating for 4 years until the graduation ceremony. She told me she had applied to a foreign graduate school and would be going for 3 years. She had already been accepted. Yes, she's a very excellent girl. I admit it, but at that time, I was probably young, and I blame her for not discussing it with me. But I did try to persuade her to stay. She still decided to go, and in a fit of anger, I broke up with her. And she agreed. That day, I watched her leave, with a full of loneliness and sorrow. I turned around in anger and agreed to the arranged marriage. On the wedding day, she sent a message. I wish you happiness. I belatedly realized I was a bit of a jerk. Covering my face, I felt a little uncomfortable. Why did I forget her after I got married? In my previous life, is the power of the plot so strong? Who do I really love? I was puzzled. 3. It seems the female lead has disappeared from my life during this period, and I'm very happy. This happiness lasted for half a day. I went to a charity gala and met her and her childhood sweetheart again because it was an invitation from an important client. I had to go, and I brought my first love with me. Yes, her name is by an eye. Huh, such a white moonlight name, right? The scene of 4 eyes meeting. No, 8 eyes meeting was truly dramatic. I think I definitely didn't check the almanac. Before going out today, I can't back down. I'm a domineering CEO. So that's why you were willing to get divorced. It turns out your first love is back. Doesn't he think his smile is very ugly? I muttered quietly. If Bai and I next to me heard it. I quickly pretended to be aloof and indifferent. What's it to you? The female lead looked at me with teary eyes, as if I had done something to hurt her. But she should. Look at how tightly their hands are holding. While Bai and I were just standing side by side. I suddenly felt that. The top of my head used to be a little green. Oh well. I signaled to Bai and I too. Let's get out of here quickly. She blinked and understood instantly. I turned around with her, intending to find Director Wong to discuss business. Suddenly a hand grabbed me. It was my ex-wife, the female lead. Aren't you going to explain? Her makeup was ruined from crying. Your eyeliner is smudged. I kindly reminded her. She burst into tears even louder, turned around and ran away. Her childhood sweetheart was furious when he saw this, and shouted, I won't let you bully her, saying that. He rushed in front of me, wanting to give me a good beating. I let him hit me once first, and then fought back hard, thinking about it as a domineering CEO male lead. How could I not know how to fight? This is a necessary skill. I beat him until he screamed miserably, completely losing his image. What are you thinking? How could a male supporting character beat the male lead? Letting you hit me once is called mutual assault. Well, after all, I have experience from my previous life. After finishing the fight, I got up and saw Byrne's worshipful starry eyes. Okay, this child is love struck again. The childhood sweetheart, male supporting character, was unconvinced and called the police to arrest me. The police looked at the surveillance footage and determined it was mutual assault, and we had to pay our own medical expenses. He kept yelling angrily, saying he would make me pay. Well, I nodded. I'm already very good looking. The male lead must be the most handsome. 4. Back at my house, Bai and I insisted on going upstairs to apply medicine for me. I knew she definitely had ulterior motives, but I agreed. Looking at my swollen face, Bai and I felt sorry for me and boiled an egg for me. After peeling it, I ate it in one bite. She said angrily, it's for reducing swelling. So she boiled another egg for me and personally used it to reduce the swelling, probably afraid that I would eat it again. Rubbing it on my face, she stopped moving. Her face was very close to me. Her lips were bright and luscious. To be honest, I really wanted to kiss her. My mouth was dry, and I turned my head away, licking my lips, not daring to look anymore. But she grabbed my head and turned it back. I was startled. What was she going to do? A little expectant. Reducing the swelling. Don't move. I was just about to close my eyes. After she finished, she put some ointment on me. Because it was too late, she rested in the guest room. At night, I lay in bed a little sleepless, my mind filled with thoughts of her red lips. So much so I had an unhealthy dream. The next morning, I quickly threw the bed sheets into the washing machine. I ran right into my coming out of her room, and I immediately put on a guilty and stern face. Up so early, she asked. I'm used to it. What do you want for breakfast? Western or Chinese? Either is fine. Then you make it. Mina looked at me speechlessly, looking at her beautiful face. I suddenly felt like I was going to explode. I hurried back to my room. I can't blame myself for having such thoughts, but seeing her yesterday's dream came back vividly. By the time I had tidied up and went out again, breakfast was ready. I like noodles, so I made noodles. Next time, it's your turn to cook for me. My face flushed as I sat down, trying to control my thoughts. I ate the noodles in silence. Bai and I was a little angry that I wasn't paying attention to her, and prepared to leave after finishing her noodles. But she got up too quickly and spilled soup all over herself. I grabbed my new shirt and shorts and told her to go wash up. But before she came out, the doorbell rang. I opened the door dumbfounded. The female lead was here. This was truly a dog blood drama, opening its door to more dog blood. Dog blood to the extreme. Hi, I wanted to ask you a question. The female lead stammered, afraid to look at me. Loved her, I replied with a cold expression, wanting to get rid of her quickly. The female lead was stunned. I wanted to ask you, did you agree to the divorce? Because you came back to the country for your first love? The female lead was a little embarrassed and angry, glaring at me. No, that's right, it wasn't. I divorced you because our relationship was a karmic entanglement. I was speechless in my heart. The female lead breathed a sigh of relief, just as she was about to speak. She heard the bathroom door open. Bae and I came out wearing my shirt and shorts, wiping her wet hair with a towel. It's only been a short while, and you've already brought her back to our home. You liar, the female lead cried out in anger, and ran away again. I wondered, what did I lie to her about? Bae and I looked at me with a bewildered expression, indicating that she didn't understand either. We went back to the company and continued working. Bae and I changed her clothes and went to the research department, while I continued to grind on the contract. We'd meet for tea if we had time, but if we didn't, we wouldn't contact each other for 10 days, or half a month. A month passed like this, and the female lead came to my door again crying. She cried and said that her childhood sweetheart was forcing her to marry him, and her father was also very much in favor. I nodded. Wasn't that great? I really thought it was great. After she got married, she always complained about how poorly I did things. Her childhood sweetheart was much better than me. Is that really what you think? The female lead looked at me with a plaintive expression, as if I had said something particularly hurtful. Yes, I nodded sincerely, wishing them a happy life together until old age, and asking her not to come and harm me anymore. She cried sadly again, leaving behind the line, "You'll regret it," and ran off. I didn't understand why. The female lead had so many tears. Someone like Bienni, I've never seen her cry. In the evening, after Bienni heard that the female lead had come, she asked me to have a meal. What do you think? Think about what? She's getting married again. What do you think? That's great. They're a match made in heaven. I praised them while eating. Bane's furrowed brow relaxed. I knew she still had designs on me. I happily enjoyed my dinner. After dinner, Bae and I offered to take me home. My face was full of black lines. Was I the domineering CEO male lead, developing into the female lead? I was a little depressed. Had I gotten it wrong? Bae and I drove me home, then made the excuse that she wanted to use the toilet. I raised my eyebrows and agreed. I opened the door and walked in. After closing the door, the house was pitch black. No one turned on the lights suddenly. Two hands wrapped around my waist from behind. Thump, thump, thump. Someone's heart was racing, especially noticeable in the quiet room. Definitely not mine. I pulled her hand away, turning to say something. Her soft arms wrapped around my neck again, her lips slowly approaching. Thump, thump, thump. This time I heard it clearly. It seemed to be my heart racing, my mind blank. I felt the soft sensation on my lips, enjoying it. When I sensed it was about to leave, I grabbed Bine's waist, chasing after her lips for a kiss. I finally managed to kiss her. How could I let you go so easily? Bine and I was clearly stunned for a moment. Then she pressed even closer to me, with greater enthusiasm, kissing me more and more recklessly. I couldn't restrain my hands, and couldn't help but caress her waist. The delicate touch from my fingertips felt like an electric current, running through my arm and spreading throughout my body, making my heart beat even more uncontrollably fast. The domineering CEO Malay lead finally got to taste the meat for the first time. Maybe. The wife-chasing novel I'm in is a clear water novel, meaning no explicit content. So I've been a virgin for so many years. At most just holding hands, leading me to still be a virgin in both my lifetimes. So how could we possibly have children? While holding her waist, I kissed her even more forcefully. She finally couldn't help but push me away, gasping for breath. Huff, your kissing skills are so bad. I silently and reluctantly let go, savoring the feeling from just now. She also seemed a little embarrassed, and didn't say anything. The vast horizon is my love. Flowers bloom at the foot of the rolling green hills. My phone rang, instantly breaking the ambiguous atmosphere. Vienna looked at me in disbelief. When she heard my ringtone, I awkwardly scratched my foot. My cold and aloof persona had collapsed. Answering the phone, the female lead's voice came from the other end. Husband, I miss you so much. The female lead seemed drunk, slurring her words. Are you this lady's husband? I'm a bartender at a bar. She's drunk at bar name, please come pick her up. A man's voice came from beside her. I looked up at Bine's expression, which was so cold it could drip water. You have the wrong number. I hung up the phone, and Bine's expression relaxed. Why don't you go wash up first? Let's go to sleep. I tried to make conversation. Byrne's face instantly turned red. I knew she misunderstood. My face also turned red, and I couldn't say a word. She went to the master bedroom to shower, and I went to the guest bedroom to shower. While showering, I dawdled and pondered. Could it be that I'm going to explain myself? Lose my virginity today? Thinking about it, I'm a little excited. After showering, I hesitated as I walked towards the master bedroom, thinking about how to be reserved. I raised my hand to turn the doorknob. I can't turn it. What's going on? Is the door broken? I wondered to myself. I'm sleepy. I'm gonna sleep. Good night. Good grief. I took a shower, and you're running away from the battle. 6. The next day, I got up early and cooked 2 bowls of noodles. And I even added a poached egg for her. We ate in silence, neither of us mentioning what happened yesterday. At work, the kiss from last night, and the feeling in the palm of my hand, constantly surfaced in my mind. I couldn't help but sigh. Beauty can really distract a person. After work, she came to find me, and we tacitly agreed to live together. Of course, nothing else happened. Sometimes I even wondered if it was just a dream. Every morning, we got up to eat breakfast together, and in the evening, we came home from work together, as if we were living a happy married life. It's a pity we can't sleep in the same bed. I looked at Bai and I with a mournful gaze. She looked at me puzzled, and urged me to finish my meal and go to work quickly. The good times didn't last long, and I received another call from the female lead. She told me that she and her childhood sweetheart were getting married next week, and that I had to come to participate, or she would take revenge on me. I thought it's better to avoid trouble. She probably just wanted me to witness her marrying someone else and give up on any lingering hopes. So I decided to go without telling Bai and I. On the wedding day, I happened to be in a meeting. After it ended, I rushed to the wedding venue. Well, I even brought a card for the wedding gift. As soon as I entered, I found the wedding ceremony was already underway. The bride saw me, and her eyes lit up. She tore off her veil and ran towards me. My mind went blank. Holy crap. I turned around and ran without looking back even once. I thought in despair, tomorrow's headline will definitely be about me not getting away, thanks to my unusually long legs. The bride ultimately couldn't catch up to me, no matter how she called and cried behind me. I didn't dare to stop. I finally shook her off. I took off my suit jacket. My shirt was soaked with sweat, and I tugged at my tie. Looking in the rearview mirror, I checked myself out. There's a kind of messy handsomeness. I drove away smartly and returned to the company. I decisively blacklisted the bride on my phone, after instructing my secretary to spend a lot of money to suppress tomorrow's news. I silently changed into a spare set of clothes. When Bai and I asked me when I got off work, I said the secretary spilled coffee on me. I thought silently sorry. You're taking the blame for this after all. I'll give you a raise. The next day, as expected, the secretary called me. President Gu, I spent a lot of money, but the media would only agree to remove your name. Sure enough, today's a certain CEO wreaks havoc at his ex-wife. Yoon Rank's wedding. The Yoon family's daughter abandoned her current groom and eloped with her ex-husband. I had a line of black hair. I wasted my money, these black-hearted media. Looking further down, there was another line. Her childhood sweetheart's company officially announces that it's at odds with the GUB group. The hatred of stealing a wife is irreconcilable. From the wording, I would have thought I really stole his wife. Knock, knock, knock. Come in, I said casually. Bye, and I came in. She looked a little incredulous, a little flustered, and hadn't even taken off her lab mask. Yen, are you going to get back together with her? Her mind is still clear. She really is a normal person, knowing to come and ask me about it. Unlike that bride. I walked over, took her hand, closed the door, took off her mask, and let her sit down on the sofa. I explained everything to her, and she believed me. See, this is what a normal person's brain is like. I looked at Bai and I with relief. Bai and I was a little embarrassed by my gaze, and lowered her head. Her face was red. I suddenly kissed her, thinking that I lowered my head, and gently pecked her on the face. She looked at me with a bit of surprise. After all, I had never taken the initiative before. I took the opportunity to lift her chin and kissed her lips. Missing her taste, she pushed my chest with both hands. A little bit of reluctance and welcome. Here is the company, it's not very good. While kissing, I picked her up and carried her into my shoe share. Shiokashire rest nap room. It's okay. No one will come in. I put her on the bed in the restroom and continued to kiss her. I couldn't control myself. She was panting softly from my kisses. Hearing her voice made me even more excited. I gently sniffed her hair, feeling like she smelled so good everywhere. Don't do that. V and I couldn't take it anymore, and reached out to push me. How could I give up? You have to know that. I've been celibate for 2 lifetimes. The more she resisted, The more excited I became with the kisses. I was about to continue, but as a result her leg brushed against me, whom I lay on top of her and didn't move. She pushed me and asked what was wrong. I lay on her body for a long time, unable to calm down. After a while, I awkwardly covered my face and rushed into the bathroom. I don't know what expression she had behind me. After changing my clothes, she and I sat awkwardly on the sofa, facing each other. It was my first time I explained my ears red. The male lead can't be impotent. Bai and I looked at me in surprise, then suddenly smiled, smiling more and more happily. I suspected she was mocking me and felt sullen. Yeah, me too. She leaned in and whispered something in my ear before leaving. Me too, she. My face instantly flushed red. Luckily, I was the only one in the office. After calming down, I was in a good mood all day. I didn't even scold my subordinate when he came to report, and even smiled at him, which made him tremble even more. I wondered to myself, does this count as getting back together? That's how we got together in college. Without anyone confessing. It just naturally happened that we became boyfriend and girlfriend. After work, I took her hand intending to go home together. At the entrance of the office building, we ran into an uninvited guest. He must be the male third. My good brother Jack. You really did let her down. Sure enough, anyone who meets the female lead goes crazy. I thought speechlessly. Back in college, Jack and I were in the same dorm and the same class. His family also owned a well-known company in the city, and we studied financial management together. Because of our similar backgrounds and common interests, we became good friends. When Bai and I first got together, he was very supportive of us and often covered for us. After all, in wealthy family novels, mothers-in-law usually don't like Cinderella. Unfortunately, before my mom could even make a move, and I decided to go abroad for further studies. She knew she didn't have a good family background and could only rely on herself. Song Qing even advised me to wait for her for 3 years. But after I got married, he changed too. He also fell in love with my ex-wife, the female lead, Amanda. He often told me to treat her well and not let her down. Once by accident, I found out that he had a crush on the female lead, and I broke off contact with him. I didn't expect that after the divorce, he would pop up again. I had almost forgotten about him. We're already divorced. If you want to pursue her, go ahead. I was speechless. He was quite normal in college. But she loves you. Jack shouted at me angrily. I was silent, and Bai and I looked at each other. Don't go looking for him. He's changed his mind. Sure enough, where there's a male third, the female lead isn't far behind. The male third looked at the female lead with heartache, and the female lead looked back at him, with tears in her eyes. The two of them stared at each other silently. Suddenly, it started to rain. I quickly pulled Bai and into the car, and through the rear-view mirror, I saw those two lunatics still standing in the rain, staring at each other silently. My knees and my expressions were both frustrated face. Back home, we took hot showers separately. Of course I wanted to, but I didn't dare. We made dinner together and drank some red wine. Bai and I got a little drunk. She told me that she went abroad to study back then, because she wanted to be more worthy of me. She was planning to let me wait for her for 3 years. And of course, she would often come back to see me during her vacations. As she said this, her eyes turned a little red. I listened to her in silence, not knowing how to tell her that it was the power of the plot. In fact, 3 years is a short time. Nowadays, communication is convenient, and planes are also convenient. I didn't have any reason to refuse to wait for her. I was also proud of her in my heart. Look, my girlfriend is so outstanding. I couldn't imagine how desperate she was back then, how regretful, and what supported her to complete her studies. Alone in a foreign land. I'm actually quite glad that I've been following you, she said again, sounding a little happy. When I heard you were divorced, I dropped everything and came back. I don't want to miss you a second time. My nose felt a little sore, and I blinked to hide the tears in my eyes. I picked up my wine glass and took a sip. I'm sorry I choked up a little. I really was a scum. I had actually forgotten about her. Completely forgotten. I didn't know how to explain it to her, but she didn't need me to explain anyway. She was drunk. I picked up the drunk her little face red, her eyes looking at me dazedly. She looked very well behaved. I gently placed her on the bed, touched her cheek, and said good night. Just as I was about to turn around, she grabbed my hand, kissed me. She opened her eyes and looked at me with moist eyes. I couldn't resist any longer, and leaned down to kiss her. 8. The next day I woke up and felt like I was holding someone in my arms. I looked down at her in my arms, my heart full of joy. I kissed her and woke her up. She opened her eyes in surprise. Why are you in my bed? I looked at her speechlessly. Did she have a blackout? She seemed to remember something. Lifted the quilt to take a look, and her cheeks turned crimson. What? You're done and don't want to admit it. I raised my eyebrows and asked her. She finally despaired, got out of bed naked, hissed in pain, covered her face, picked up her clothes, and ran away. I lay in bed admiring her perfect body, her flustered appearance, and couldn't help but laugh. I slowly got out of bed, put on my clothes and pants, and made breakfast. She was already sitting obediently at the dining table, her mouth pouting high. I feel like I lost out. I can't remember what happened last night. All that's left is the pain. She said, looking at me aggrievedly, it's okay. Let's do it a few more times tonight. Yes, the male lead's configuration is strong. I really wasted it before. Of course, I'm not talking about wasting time with the female lead. I'm definitely talking about university. Just focusing on studying. What a loss. Biney Eye's face turned red and then white. And she shook her head. Never mind. It hurts so much, or two. I raised my eyebrows, signaling her to continue. She hesitated and closed her mouth. She must be too embarrassed to praise me. After breakfast, I let her rest at home for a day, and I continued to be a workaholic. While working, I thought about the problem between Biney and me. I want to marry her. Now there are no parents to stop me. Thanks to the author for writing the parents abroad. But now that the two crazy people haven't been dealt with, I'm a little worried about them causing trouble. I ordered the secretary to check on their current situation. In the afternoon, the secretary told me that the male third and the childhood sweetheart were fighting fiercely for the female lead. The two companies are also at war. I thought to myself, well done. Isn't this a great opportunity? I immediately instructed the secretary to notify senior management to hold a meeting. During the meeting, I arranged for them to secretly try to win customer orders. While the two companies were fighting, whoever grabs one more contract will have their bonus doubled at the end of the month. Under the temptation of money, my subordinates came up with all kinds of tricks and poached a lot of business from the two companies. The two of them don't pay attention to the company now. They are only busy being jealous and fighting over women. While I was dating Biney, I was secretly digging up the business and employees of their companies. By the time they reacted, the company could no longer make ends meet and was about to go bankrupt. As for the female lead's family's company, without me constantly feeding it resources, it was developing lukewarmly. Not my opponent at all. Sure enough, when it comes to career, the male lead is invincible. Soon, the two of them couldn't care less about being jealous and fighting, and hurried back to the company to try to turn the tide. But how could I give them this opportunity? After all, in my previous life, my company was also jointly defeated by them. I spread the internal problems of their company, and their company collapsed even faster. During this period, the female lead even came to me to question why I was doing this, and I directly asked the security guards to kick her out. I already understand that. It was all because of the plot, that I felt like I had fallen in love with her before. Now I understand that I don't love her at all. I'm not interested in her at all. Unlike Biney, watching her cook at home in a nightgown makes me eager to move. While I was watching the joke of the two of them, I took the time to clean up the female lead's father's company, because I remembered her father was actually a hypocritical businessman. He said he was doing it for his daughter, but the money he got from me all went to his illegitimate son. I only learned later from a book that the car accident I had, where I lost a leg trying to save the female lead, was also his doing. He wanted to make sure I had no chance of making a comeback. I don't think just bankrupting him is enough. He should receive the punishment he deserves. If I calculate, based on what happened in my previous life, he should be making a move on the female lead's mother soon. After all, he wants to leave all the money to his illegitimate son, who carries his last name. Yes, the female lead shares her mother's last name. Speaking of which, this is another story of a Phoenix man. In my previous life, he killed the female lead's mother, crippled my leg, and then revealed his true colors. The female lead would only cry and ask me to help her. She was useless for anything else. Originally, even though my leg was crippled and my company went bankrupt, my family's biggest assets were actually overseas. So the bankruptcy of the domestic company wasn't a big deal. However, I think I must have awakened at that time. I rejected the female lead and didn't seek revenge. I chose a sunny day, and at the same place where Bai and I jumped into the sea. I also jumped. Yes, Bai and I jumped into the sea in my previous life, and no one saved her. Thinking of this, my heart started to ache. In my previous life, because of the female lead's misunderstandings, the male lead, 3, and the childhood sweetheart male, lead 2 started targeting Bai and I, blacklisting her in the industry, and spreading rumors about her. This led to her mother, who had a heart condition, her last remaining relative, being angered to death by the rumors. Because of the plot, I didn't care about her or pay any attention to her. As a result, Bai and I jumped into the sea in despair. But in this life, I won't let any of them go. 9. I continued to prepare to target the female lead's family company according to my plan, while also sending people to watch the female lead's father and collect evidence. As the saying goes, hard work pays off. My people filmed a video of the female lead's father drugging her mother and managed to get the bottle of medicine with the female lead's father's fingerprints. I immediately called the police, reported the female lead's father for intentional homicide, and submitted the evidence. I had people investigate and found out that the female lead's father had been giving her mother a drug that caused mental weakness and physical deterioration for a long time. After several years, her mother was already near death, and according to my calculations, she didn't have many days left. The female lead's father was arrested for intentional murder, and his company was also reported for tax evasion. The company was in a panic. I took this opportunity to swallow the female lead's company. The female lead's mother died, and her father was sentenced to life imprisonment. The illegitimate son got nothing. The companies of the male lead 2 and male lead 3 also declared bankruptcy. The male lead 2 couldn't withstand such a heavy blow, and disheartened, he chose to leave the city penniless. I sent someone to follow him, and, taking advantage of an unguarded moment, sold him to northern Myanmar. As for male lead 3, Jack, he was very stubborn. Even though his company had gone bankrupt, he still had some funds on hand. So a sense of obsession ignited in his heart, and he was determined to make a comeback and return to the peak of his career. And the female lead, to prove a point, took all her property to help him make a comeback. Wasn't this exactly what I wanted? With my help, they successfully lost all their money and could only resign themselves to finding jobs. Every job they found I sabotaged, and I also had people spread rumors about them, so no company dared to hire them. I also paid people to beat them up once a week. Don't tell me I shouldn't hit girls. She's the biggest culprit. Finally, the female lead couldn't take it anymore and went crazy. Male lead 3 also jumped off a building in despair and committed suicide. And I, tricked by an eye, into coming to the place where we first met. At university, a red carpet was laid in the middle of the ground, with vibrant red roses on both sides, arranged in a large heart shape. The surroundings were also decorated with many balloons and streamers. There was a large screen on the debate stage, playing videos of our debate association from our university days. Walking along the red carpet, Bai and I, eyes red, looked towards the stage. I was there waiting for her with a bouquet of her favorite red roses. The drone camera pulled back, showing only me, one hand holding the roses, the other hand behind my back holding a red box.